This is r/Maliciouscompliance, where OP follows their given directions to the letter. My name is Trey and welcome back to Reload Reacts. This first post is by Izzy of Albion. I was working in a marketing department in the mid-2000s. A colleague, Paul, was pacing up and down behind his desk, dictating a PowerPoint presentation to me, whilst I put it together and made it pretty. He said he wanted an asterisk in front of every bullet point. Well, I'm a terrible pedant and don't really get on with this guy. I so relate to this. We had an argument yesterday, the day before this incident, about H/H, which he refused to concede despite me practically rubbing his face in the dictionary. So I'm in the mood to argue with him again. You mean asterisk, not asterisk, I said as passively as possible. He stopped and stared at me. It's asterisk. Rix. It's a little star if you don't know what it is. Yeah, that's an asterisk. Risk. You're wrong. It's asterisk. He looked at our other colleague in this three-man department. It's asterisk, right? John just shrugged silently and kept his head down. Smart move, John. I wasn't wrong yesterday, was I? Should I fetch the dictionary? No need. It's asterisk. End of story. Just do it. I'll do it. No problem. Just to be clear, you want an asterisk in front of every point, not an asterisk? Yes. Okay, buddy. For the younger ones and those that might not know, Asterix or Asterix the Gaulle is the main character from an internationally popular French comic. Since Paul was so adamant it was what he wanted, I quickly snagged a suitable picture from Google Images, Asterix the Gaulle wagging his finger triumphantly in the air. Perfect for making a point. Paul was hoping to print the thing off and head straight into the boardroom by the time he saw it. What's this, a Viking? I'm confused. It's Asterix. He's a Gaul, not a Viking. It's what you demanded. Weird, I know, but you were adamant. I did double check with you. It was his second loss in 2 days, and if memory serves, the last time we had an argument like that. Yeah, I'm so like this with pronunciation between words. Me and my friends have arguments about this all the time. They just won't listen to reason, even when it's written right in front of them, even when you look it up. The pronunciation is right there. They refuse to listen to me. This next post is by Silver Echo Cove. I work at a public library and most days are calm even when it's busy. Last month, someone higher up sent out a shiny new accountability memo that said every single checkout must include a printed receipt. No exceptions, no asking the patron, no email options unless they request it after you print. The memo literally said it reduces disputes, and if a patron refuses the paper, you still print it and discard it yourself for audit consistency. We all kind of rolled our eyes, but I decided fine, I will follow it exactly, because I'm not getting blamed later. The next Saturday we had a line out the door, strollers, seniors, kids, everyone, and I printed a receipt for every checkout even when people said no thanks. I didn't speed print either, because the policy also said to highlight due dates and verbally confirm them. So I did that too, every time. One guy checked out 47 items for a book club donation sort, so I printed 2 full pages of receipt, highlighted, confirmed, stapled, and then put the duplicate copy in the audit tray like the instructions told us. Another patron asked why I was throwing paper straight into recycling, and I just said, new rules, sorry, because I wasn't gonna editorialize. By noon, we had burned through 2 rolls of thermal paper, and the printer started doing that faint stripe thing, which means it's about to jam and needs a reboot. So I logged a supply request and kept printing away because the memo didn't say to pause for common sense. The line got slower, people got cranky, and we ran out of paper completely, which meant we couldn't check anything out at all because the receipt screen blocks the checkout until it prints. The fallout was immediate. The children's librarian had to cancel a storytime giveaway, the holds shelf was overflowing, and the director got a call from the city office because someone complained they drove 30 minutes and couldn't borrow books because the printer was empty. Monday morning, we got a follow-up email that receipts are now optional again and please be mindful of waste. I kept the original memo in my drawer, just in case they forget how we got here. Well played, OP. You're certainly making the higher-ups think about what they choose to say. Some decisions are just the wrong move. Higher-ups need to start treating people like people and not numbers. It's not that hard, just have empathy for people. This next post is by Casually Messing Up. I used to work the service desk at a big box store, the kind with a million tiny aisles and a lot of weekend chaos. Corporate rolled out this self-help push, and our store manager repeated it in a meeting. We were not supposed to walk customers to items anymore because it trained dependence and slowed down the desk. The approved script was to direct them to the new touchscreen kiosk map near the entrance. It sounded harmless on a slide, but in real life, half our customers were older, tired, or just in a hurry, and the kiosk was always surrounded by carts and kids. Still, the instruction was super clear. Use the kiosk. Do not leave the desk unless it's for an actual return. So I did exactly that. Lady asks where picture hooks are from. I smile and point to the kiosk. Guy asked where light bulbs are. Kiosk. Someone asked where the restroom is. Yep, kiosk. People would look at me like I was messing with them, and I'd do the same calm line. Store policy, the map will show you. Within an hour, we had a little cluster of confused customers poking the screen, then a line, then a second line for actual returns because I couldn't move faster. One customer got so frustrated they asked for a manager, and I happily called one over, then stood there quietly while the manager spent 10 minutes walking them to the aisle anyway. By the end of the weekend, we had 3 complaints logged, 2 abandoned returns, and the store manager asking why the kiosk area looked like an airport check-in. Monday morning, the rule was magically, use the kiosk when it helps but just be human about it. Crazy. Once again, more higher-ups treating people like numbers instead of people. And it causes backlash. Who could have seen this coming? EA, Microsoft, OpenAI, Google, YouTube. Did someone say something? This next post is by MurdermanTX. There was one time I got annoyed with the preppy kids in high school being jerks to everyone. So I went to this store at the mall with my older sister and bought a can of fart spray. It was basically canned sulfur, and took it to school. I found all their lockers and sprayed them all down with the stuff. Needless to say, I got 7 days of in-school detention. But when my mum was called to the school, the principal made me wait in the hallway so she could talk with my mum. And I overheard the principal laughing hysterically through the door. Detention was kind of brutal, but I was determined to accept it and take it on. Ha! The detention lady wasn't ready for my stubbornness. She gave me all of my classwork for all of my classes from all of my teachers for the full next month. There was one problem though. They effed up. They locked a medicated kid with ADHD in a room with books and classwork. I hyper-focused my way through it and got all of the classwork done in like 2 days. The detention lady was extremely upset about this, especially because I just calmly approached her unaffected by the entire situation and just asked her for more work. She said that I did it all. Then she got peed off and slammed one of those giant pink Webster's dictionaries on my desk and gave me a fresh blank spiral notebook and 3 pencils. Next she said, I want you to write every word and its first definition in this dictionary, and then gave me an evil grin. For like 0.5 seconds, I was shocked, but then I realized, this is my chance. I smiled at her and just asked her, am I allowed to get up and sharpen my pencil on my own, or do I have to ask your permission every time? She said that was fine. 3.5 days and 1 extra spiral notebook later, I had done it. My arms were blackened by graphite, but I was completely satisfied because I got to see that shocked look on her face. She was in complete and total despair. She took my spiral notebooks, and it was in that moment that I knew what I had to do. She wouldn't be able to resist if I asked, because she so desperately wanted to discipline me. I smugly asked her as she took the notebooks away, "Aren't you going to check my work?" There's no way OP could have copied that entire dictionary into his 2 spiral notebooks. Maybe he ran out of notebooks and he just wrote what he could. That's a crazy story though. Isn't the point of detention to catch up with stuff? Isn't much of a punishment if you just have hyperfixations the whole time? This post is by King of Mooks. A while back, my wife and I were buying our house after a few months of rental. There was a delay in the new house being ready, so we moved in with my mother for a few weeks. God, that sounds like hell. During that time, I stashed some stuff at work, including bringing in my chair, a very nice Herman Miller Aeron that I had gotten secondhand. The office chairs were old, standard/serviceable, but not exactly nice. After a few days, I noticed that my chair would be in the conference room every morning. No problem, I just wheeled it back to my desk. I was working 8 to 4 to avoid traffic, so it was usually in first. The CEO, of about 120 people, would usually not arrive until about noon and take later meetings when most of the staff were away. After a few days, the chair kept ending up at his desk, open plan thankfully, so I just took it back every morning. I wasn't foolish enough to go into the CEO's office. He'd shoot me a dirty look every morning, but that was it. After a few more days of this back and forward, the CEO's assistant, who was a very lovely person who I felt immense pity for, approached me and told me that the CEO didn't think it was appropriate that I had a nicer chair than him. What? People would think that my desk belonged to the CEO, and it was stressing her out having to basically fight for it every day on his behalf. I told her I understood completely and would stop fighting over it. I took it out of the office that lunchtime and reclaimed a normal office chair. The next day she came over and asked where the chair was. I said with an incredibly straight face that I thought since it wasn't appropriate, I just took it to my car. She had a super stunned look, but just kind of ran off. Since I was almost always first in, I always got parking near the building. Pretty much everyone got to walk past my car on the way to the office and see my chair in the boot for a few more weeks. However, given his cowardly nature, I never got approached about it again. To this day, I'm 100% certain they thought I was just going to give in and let him have my chair. Instead, I got the joy of telling everyone the honest truth about why my chair was in my car for weeks. The top comment says here, if the guy had any sense, he'd have just done what my old IT director did. Hey, why is your chair so much better than everyone else's? I brought it in from home, it's mine. Cool, good choice. Next day he had a 980-pound office chair delivered. This was r/Maliciouscompliance. If you enjoyed that video, make sure to go check out some other videos on the channel. And also make sure to hit that subscribe button because I post new Reddit content every single day.